Technology has reached a point where we can resurrect lost moments, reconstruct forgotten days, and bring history to life in ways our ancestors could never have imagined. If you're fascinated by stories where the past speaks to the present, hit that subscribe button right now. You won't want to miss what's coming next. This is the story of September 1st, 1666, the last ordinary day in London before the Great Fire changed everything forever. It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and London Bridge is already chaos incarnate. Not the sleek, modern structure you might imagine. No, this bridge is practically a city unto itself. Buildings cling to both sides like barnacles on a ship's hull. Shops, homes, even a chapel squeeze onto this medieval marvel that's somehow still standing after 6 centuries of wear and tear. The air is thick. Coal smoke mingles with river fog, creating a choking haze that Londoners have learned to ignore the way you ignore background noise in a coffee shop. Above the crowded street, mounted on spikes, are the severed heads of traitors, a grim reminder that the crown doesn't mess around when it comes to loyalty. These grotesque trophies have been up there so long that most people don't even glance at them anymore. They're just part of the scenery, like streetlights or bus stops. Below on the Thames itself, ferrymen are already shouting for passengers. Eastward ho, Westminster, their voices cut through the morning din like knives through butter. Competition is fierce, and every fare counts. Water carriers, men who literally haul buckets of Thames water to homes and businesses, are beginning their brutal daily rounds, their backs already bent under the weight of their profession.
Morning to you both, and to you, Thomas.
And threading through all of this, invisible as ghosts, are the pickpockets. Young, old, male, female, poverty doesn't discriminate, and neither does crime. In a city where survival often means breaking rules, a skilled cutpurse can lift a week's wages before you've even realized someone bumped into you.
Give way there, give way!
This is London waking up. This is routine. This is what everyone expects tomorrow to look like too. They have no idea there won't be a tomorrow, at least, not one they'd recognize. By 9 in the morning, the city's commercial heart is beating at full strength. Cheapside, the premier shopping district of its day, is already packed shoulder to shoulder with humanity. If you're imagining a bright, airy marketplace with neat stalls and organized queues, think again. This is medieval urban planning at its most claustrophobic. The buildings here lean so far over the street that neighbors in opposite houses could practically shake hands out their windows. Sunlight is a rare visitor to Cheapside's cobblestones. The overhang creates a permanent twilight, broken only by the warm glow of shop windows and the occasional shaft of rebellious sunshine that finds a gap in the architecture.
Hey, watch where you're going with that water.
Almost got it, be quick.
Everything here is controlled. Guilds, powerful trade organizations that make modern unions look like casual book clubs, regulate every aspect of commerce. Want to sell bread? You need guild approval. Want to butcher meat? Better have your guild credentials in order. Want to weave cloth? Hope you've completed your 7-year apprenticeship and paid all your fees.
I'll give you 30, my final offer.
These guilds don't just set standards, they enforce monopolies. Competition is crushed before it can sprout. Prices are fixed. Quality is mandated. Step out of line and you'll face fines that can bankrupt you, or worse, expulsion from your trade entirely. In a city where your profession literally defines your identity, that's a death sentence of a different kind.
Only ask for a slight adjustment due to the delay.
Fire buckets hang on walls throughout Cheapside, mandated by law. But here's the thing about regulations. People follow them just enough to avoid punishment, not enough to be effective. Those buckets, mostly empty, or filled with rainwater so stagnant it's more likely to spread disease than douse flames. They're checkbox compliance, not actual safety measures.
Please reconsider, Master. My work is worthy. The guild requires more.
And in the bakeries, in the kitchens, in every business that requires heat, ovens burn constantly. On this particular September day, with summer refusing to release its grip, the heat is oppressive. Every spark that jumps from these fires is a tiny dice roll. Usually nothing happens, usually. At 11 o'clock, in cramped rooms across the city, a quieter revolution is brewing, literally. Coffee houses have exploded in popularity over the past few years, and they're driving the authorities absolutely crazy. Here's why these places are so subversive. For just 1 penny, less than the price of a loaf of bread, any man, and yes, it's unfortunately just men at this point in history, can enter, grab a seat, and participate in conversations that would have been unthinkable a generation earlier. A merchant sits next to a ship's captain who's arguing with a lawyer who's debating with a clerk. Class barriers, while not completely dissolved, are at least temporarily suspended. News sheets, early newspapers, really, are passed from hand to hand, read aloud, debated fiercely. The war with the Dutch is going poorly. Trade routes are threatened. The plague that ravaged London just last year killed over 100,000 people, and everyone either lost someone or knows someone who did. The national mood is tense, grieving, angry, looking for someone to blame.
Your sentimentality blinds you, Thomas. This is commerce.
In coffee houses, all of this becomes conversation. Political opinions that could get you arrested if spoken in the wrong place are fair game here. Radical ideas about government, religion, commerce, and society mix with the bitter, exotic beverage that gives these establishments their name. The Crown watches nervously. King Charles II and his advisors understand that when common people start talking freely about power, power itself becomes unstable. There have been attempts to shut down coffee houses, to control them, to regulate them into submission. But economics wins every time. These places make money, they're popular, and in a city still recovering from plague, anything that brings commerce and community back to life is hard to argue against, at least for now. 1 o'clock in the afternoon finds London's true heart pumping at full capacity, the Thames wharves. If London Bridge is the city's front door, the river is its circulatory system, and these wharves are where the blood of commerce flows in and out. Coal arrives by the ton from Newcastle, black gold that heats homes, powers industry, and fills lungs with the thick smoke that defines London's atmosphere. Timber from the Baltic, wine from France, fish from the North Sea, wool from the countryside, everything flows through here. Stevedores heave cargo while merchants calculate profits and harbour masters collect fees. But the wharves aren't just about legitimate business. Press gangs prowl the docks, authorized by the Royal Navy to forcibly recruit men for service at sea. Naval warfare doesn't care much about consent, and England's war with the Dutch demands bodies. Young men who came to the waterfront looking for work sometimes find themselves shanghaied aboard warships, their old lives over before they even knew it.
Let go of me! I have a family!
Petty crime flourishes in the chaos. A sack of grain goes missing. A barrel of wine develops a mysterious leak. Cargo manifests don't quite match what's actually unloaded. Everyone knows it's happening. Everyone pretends not to notice. And stacked everywhere, on the wharves, in warehouses, piled against buildings, is timber. London is rebuilding after the plague. Construction is booming. Every project needs wood, frames, floors, roofs, furniture. So the timber stacks grow higher, packed tight to save space, waiting for carpenters and builders to claim it. Nobody's thinking about fire. Why would they? This timber is inventory, not kindling. It's economic opportunity, not fuel for disaster. The Thames has always sustained London. The idea that it might also be arming the city's destruction hasn't occurred to anyone. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Weavers' Quarter is humming with productivity you can't see from the street. This is where London's textile industry lives, literally. Ground floors are workshops, upper floors are bedrooms. Work and life exist in the same space, separated only by a staircase and exhaustion. Inside these buildings, the air is hot and close. Looms clack rhythmically. Apprentices, some as young as 12, work under the watchful eyes of master craftsmen who learn their trade the same way. through years of unpaid labor, strict discipline, and the slim hope of someday running their own shop. The guild system that controls commerce in Cheapside controls life here too. Your career path is predetermined. First, you're an apprentice, basically an indentured servant who works for room, board, and training. Then, if you're lucky and skilled and politically savvy enough, you become a journeyman, finally earning wages, though you still can't run your own business. And eventually, maybe, after years more of work and substantial fees paid to the guild, you might become a master craftsman yourself. It's a system designed to control supply, maintain quality, and ensure that those at the top stay there. Social mobility exists, but it moves at the pace of cold honey. Water is scarce in this part of town. Wells are running low after the hot, dry summer. Families ration what they have. Fire buckets, when they're filled at all, contain water that's needed for drinking, cooking, washing. Using it to fight fire means choosing between immediate disaster and slower suffering. And the buildings themselves, these timber-framed structures packed so tightly together that neighbors can hear each other breathe, are architectural tinderboxes. Narrow alleys wind between them, barely wide enough for a cart. If fire starts here, there's nowhere to run. The flames won't spread gradually. They'll leap from building to building like a predator hunting prey. But that's a worry for another day. Right now, there are quotas to meet and guild masters to satisfy. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. Night falls on London like a curtain dropping on a stage. The city transforms completely. Those same streets that bustled with life just hours ago are now threatening, shadowy corridors where danger lurks in every doorway. Lanterns are few and expensive. Most streets rely on moonlight and the faint glow from shuttered windows. Watchmen, mostly elderly men past their physical prime, make their rounds, calling out the hours and praying they don't encounter anything more threatening than a drunk staggering home. 9 o'clock and all is well. The cry echoes through dark streets, more hope than observation.
8 o'clock and all is well.
In Pudding Lane, a narrow street near the wharves, Thomas Farriner's bakery is cooling down for the night. Ovens have been banked, their fires dampened but not extinguished, maintaining heat for tomorrow's early morning baking. This is standard practice. Restarting a cold oven wastes time and fuel. Better to keep a controlled burn going overnight. The timber walls of the bakery, like every building around it, retain heat. Centuries of fires have dried the wood until it's practically begging to combust. But Farriner has done this thousands of times. He's careful, professional. There's no reason tonight should be any different from any other night. Across the city, in thousands of homes, similar scenes play out. Fires are banked, candles are extinguished, families settle in for sleep, doors locked against the dangers of darkness. London exhales, letting go of another exhausting day. Tomorrow will come, as it always has. Work will resume, markets will open, the city will continue its relentless march forward. That's what everyone assumes, that's what history has always delivered. But history is about to take a hard left turn, and nobody sees it coming. We know about this day, September 1st, 1666, only in fragments. Diaries, account books, maps drawn before the fire destroyed them, memories recorded afterward by survivors trying to make sense of trauma. Historians have pieced together these scraps like archaeologists assembling a shattered pot, trying to understand not just what happened, but what it felt like to live through that ordinary Saturday. What emerges is a portrait of anxiety barely contained. London in 1666 is a city on edge. The plague has just passed. Neighborhoods that thrived 2 years ago are now filled with empty houses and traumatized survivors. The war with the Dutch is going badly, threatening England's commercial dominance and national pride. Taxes are high, food prices are rising. The mood is tense, exhausted, grieving. And yet life continues, because what else can you do? You wake up, you work, you eat, you sleep. You trust that tomorrow will resemble today because that's how time has always worked. Routine becomes a kind of faith. But under that routine, vulnerabilities are stacking up like the timber on the wharves. Dry wood, low water, narrow streets, buildings pressed together, firefighting equipment that's decorative rather than functional. A hot, dry summer that's left everything parched and brittle. Thank you for traveling back in time with us. If you found this journey meaningful, please subscribe to the channel and share this video with someone who loves history. Until next time.